Hello and welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valsaraptor. I have none of my regular co-hosts with me today. Tia's out on maternity leave. Mim has bronchitis, and Doki Doki Bun Bun, her entire life is under construction, and they are all sorely missed. But instead, I have two straight males with me doing a reaction to Ouran High School Host Club. Frank, who is waving feverishly during this video broadcast, has already seen Iran. Did you do a rewatch, Frank? Frankfurt?
I
Do,
watched it
do
at
you
the
prefer
end
the
of
long
last.
form of your name or the short form of your
It
name?
don't matter.
Frankfurt or Frank?
It
Okay.
don't matter. You can call me Frank. Yeah, no, I watched it at the end of last year at some point, before we were even like, oh, this is a thing we should do.
Okay.
It's just but it's probably like the sixth time I've watched it. So
Okay. And then we're also here with Danny like Phantom, who is a repeat guest for fans of the pod. And this is Danny's first time watching Iran High School Host Club.
It is. I have missed it, but despite being tangential to it almost my entire life.
And worlds finally collided.
Really.
Okay, and I forgot to intro Frank, aka Frankfurt, is a part of, I'm going to call it the Brother podcast, even though our podcasts never really diverge whatsoever. But
we
he is the
didn't
other
do
half
nothing.
of my husband's podcast, Bakaco,
Hello.
Baka Bites. What do you guys?
Baka and Co podcasts on all social platforms. I would hope that I would remember that at this point in my life.
Is that your sales pitch before we get into it today?
Yeah, we've been recording for like 3 years. I don't know if I'm supposed to curse, so I apologize if I'm not.
Watch your profanity.
I'm so
Such no
sorry.
profanity.
Yeah, no, we've been recording for nearly 3 years, Tyler and I, that is. But yeah, we've gone through iterations of our show. Currently, we do a weekly show in which we just talk about a weekly topic of, just whatever floats our boat that week, we'll talk about. So this past week, we recorded an episode on the spring anime of 2025, and we kind of went through all the shows coming out and basically said what we were going to watch, what we are going to skip, etc., etc. So
Not to
that is
make
what
this a
we do.
sales pitch, not to make this a sales pitch for your podcast, but then you're also doing like your flashback series where like right now you guys
Yeah.
are watching Death Parade and then you guys are gonna talk about that.
Yeah, so we're doing another like side show to it where it's like once a month we watch an entire season of of an anime or a movie, and we basically take an hour 30 minutes to just discuss it ad nauseum as to what we liked, what we didn't like, etc. We did just record last weekend, I think so. Yes, last weekend, our episode on, I should remember this, Terror and Resonance. So that episode will be coming out at the end of the month.
Nice. And Danny like Phantom, do you have any sales pitch for your existence?
Yes. All over the internet, I am BitkingDT, BITKINGDT. It's a Digimon reference. I do video essays on YouTube. I'm slowly getting back to it. I like to take a look at intersectional like subtext with like series. So one of the last videos I did was about how in the live action Percy Jackson adaptation, they made one of the characters Latino when even though in the book he was white. And I discussed how that kind of changes, and in my opinion, it kind of makes the story better because now there's subtext that is explicitly text. I am working on some new things, like I also how different tropes like enemies to lovers, or what's another one that I have here, uh like nostalgia, like how depending on aspects of a character, depending on like the context of the story, how it can change, how it can be different. And that's it. For now on that. There was another thing I might say, but I haven't even started it. So maybe new projects, but once I get off my butt, then I'll have something to say. Maybe.
No, because once you start one project, it becomes multiple projects. Just like this
Exactly.
podcast became manga reviews, became now playthrough videos on YouTube. So we've also cross-pollinated and bred and become. It's as if one project isn't enough. Why don't we do more?
Mhm.
Yeah, and instead of finishing one, we'll just start 5 others.
Yeah, none of us have
Yay.
ADHD.
No, not at
Ooh.
all.
On that note, let's get into today's topic, which is Ouran High School Host Club. So this is one of my faves. For those who can't see me, who are listening to the podcast on our various platforms, I'm wearing my Ouran High School Host Club t-shirt. I'm showing off my Ouran High School Host Club tattoo. It's a whole thing for me. But I'm disappointed in Frankfurt because I know for a fact he's got an Ouran hoodie. Oh, he is wearing.
What
Okay,
are you talking about?
it's mirrored. I can't read.
I can't read in general.
Excuse me, that is a crew neck.
It is a
Okay,
crew
sorry.
neck, and actually, your husband
quite
gave
sure.
me this, so
That's how I knew that you had one.
I know. I had to
'cause he
fish
was in
this
my-
out of the bottom of the dirty bin and Febreze it. So
Why don't you wash
Luckily,
it?
this is not a multi-sense podcast.
long,
There's no
long
smells
story
being
short,
emitted.
that is not my chore of the household.
I'm telling your wife that you're trash talking her on the internet. After
No,
this,
I love my wife. She's playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Leave her be.
I'm so jealous. As soon as we're done, I'm logging on to Hello Kitty Island Adventure to play with your wife.
Oh no, she's not going to play with you. She's waiting on me to get done with this so we can watch the season finale of Severance.
Ooh, yes.
Which is an hour and 20 minutes. So
God
I'm
damn
in
it.
desperate need of ore from your wife.
or
Or
on.
yeah,
Ouran.
good transition. I was gonna try and transition us back on
No,
topic.
we're all too ADHD. One of us, we're like splitting a brain cell here. Someone's got to keep us on track. We're already like 10 minutes in, and we haven't actually talked about Ouran whatsoever. So
it wasn't about halfway until I was talking about what I do for the podcast that I realized we had started recording. So we're doing fantastic.
Why'd you think I was having you do the bit anyway? Okay, so Frankfurt's seen this multiple times. I've seen multiple times, but Danny, you always get pulled into me being like, "Hey, you know what would be a funny podcast episode if you just went along with this thing that I like, and you also indulged it." So you were texting me as you were watching it, and Frank
Yes.
didn't get the pleasure of
Nope, I didn't. I really
your
wish I
immediate
did.
reactions. We should
really
have had a
wish I
group chat
did.
for it. Yeah. But I think the thing that stood out to me the most was your hatred for Honey Nezuka.
Yes, I hate children. And
We'll stop.
I think
He's
didn't I
the
say that?
oldest. What do you mean?
Okay, the oldest child. He is still a legal child.
In the manga, he's 18.
Okay. I didn't read the manga. So if you want to buy me the box set, I will gladly read and we can redo
I
this.
have it here.
I
next
still need to
me.
read it as well, buddy, so don't worry about it.
I'm in the manga up to the point that the manga like diverges from the anime.
Okay,
And
that is
I was gonna read it, but I'm the type of person that if I really like a series, I'm not gonna jump into the manga from the point that the anime ends. I'm still gonna read it from the beginning.
yes, you are correct. That's the way to do it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's why I haven't
Which-
finished Dandadan either.
Oh,
I mean, it's still ongoing every Monday, but
you got
yeah.
time. So the anime itself only goes up to like volume 8, and I believe there's 16 volumes.
I can fact check you. Just give me a minute.
I think it's 18
16
because
or
I was
18.
on the
Okay,
Ouran High
it's
School
16 or 18,
subreddit.
yeah.
I was
Okay,
on the
then
subreddit
it's
right
18.
before
It is
this.
18. It is 18.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
will
child.
I will be our fact,
Just
I
like
will
the
be our
child
fact
that you
checker.
hate.
The boy, the child, the lad.
Yes.
The boy, the child, and the lad. That's what we should rename it.
Okay,
I'll say-
so go ahead. I want to clarify that it's not that I necessarily hate Honey. It's that there is a great movie from 2008 or 2006. I can't remember 6 or 8. Role Models, and I love it because Paul Rudd, who now everyone knows is like a wholesome guy, is like a jerk in that movie, and is like he's says, "I will hit a child. I've never done that before."
It is 2008, 2008. That would have been weird.
2008. Why don't we do that? We should. Why don't we do 2008? We do 2010. We should do 2008.
The CEO of our company today said 22.5 earlier today, and I was like, oh, okay.
22.5. Yeah, okay. I mean, okay. I I guess I have to accept that. If I want 2008, I have to accept 2020 22.5. So but yeah, like he's like multiple times like I will hit a child. I've never done that before. And that's how I kept feeling
for legal reasons.
I'm gonna count how many times you sent me that meme. Hold on. It was a lot.
Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. But real quick question for you, Danny, and this is a very important question. Did you
Yes.
watch it dubbed or subbed?
I watched the dub.
Okay.
Because,
Then I understand a bit more because
but
I do also feel not necessarily hatred for Honey no Zuka, but like boy oh boy, that voice.
so
That
no,
voice actor did a great job, but holy crap.
No, I do want to say I switched in between. Every time that like there was like I found myself. I do this with all anime. Like the dub sub debate is irrelevant to me because I'll switch between both. Or if I'm watching it on Netflix, I like Netflix because they have like the proper sub. So like there are times so I get both. I get both the dub and like what the sub is like intending. And I hate both voice act. I think it's just fully the character. Like both the sub and the dub do a good job of like what that character is supposed to be, and what that character is supposed to be is like an antithesis to who I am as a person. But up until he gets like his backstory episode, and then out from his backstory episode, then I'm like, okay, I like him more. It spoke to me a little bit. And I think just the character does change after that once he explains his story.
Mhm.
But yeah. How many times did I send you Paul Rudd saying I will hit a
6.
child? 6.
Well, you sent it 6
That's-
times in reference to Honey no Zuka, and then you sent it another time in reference to something else. But I don't remember why. So
And
I
it's
digress. It
probably
was 6
valid.
times.
And it's
Yeah.
probably valid.
Yeah.
We're gonna be completely honest. Like I love this show, but there are moments of this show where I'm just like, all right, if I could just like fast forward a little bit without missing any of it, that'd be great. Because there are times where like
I treasure every moment of this show. There's
to be
not
fair,
a
like there's
second
some
that I
moments
would
with the
zoom
twins.
past.
Okay.
No, that is satire. That is not okay. So hold on.
Wait. Before, can you explain to the audience what Ouran High School Host Club is?
Oh
What do
boy.
you want me to give like a if you've never seen Ouran High School Host Club?
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to do your show.
I assume that if someone clicks on my episode, they're like, "Oh my god, I love Ouran High School Host Club. Let me listen to this podcast about it." Not, this is a random anime podcast about a show I've heard of but know nothing about. Let me watch this episode. I doubt that it's that, especially for a show this. I don't want to say classic, but I mean it does have a cult following.
I would definitely call it classic at this point. Like it's nearly
it's
vintage.
Old. The ratio is off on it.
Yeah, next year is going to be vintage because like vintage is 20 years. But like
okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
The fact checker's going.
No, he is right. It is 20 years next year, but it's just like we're gonna say 20 years is vintage. Like, fuck, I'm 33 this year. Like, what the hell does that make me?
Decrepit.
Oh god.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Especially as someone who's the same. Hello.
Still,
hello, kitty.
It's still vintage because I think above vintage is antique, and antique is 100. So all of us are vintage, I guess.
Fair enough.
But I mean, that's kind of what she said. Like, yeah, I guess if they know the name Ouran High School Host Club, but they haven't watched it, they're gonna be a guest on this podcast because that was me. Like, I have a distinct memory of like being in like middle school, and there was a classmate of mine that was like, I forget how, I don't remember the exact verbiage or like words we used, but she was like, "Wait, you're an anime kid. You like Naruto. I really like Ouran High School Host Club. We should be friends." And I was like, "I don't know what that is. I don't think we have anything in common." And so we just never became friends.
And now that you know, you're like, we are not the same.
I mean, in middle school, I should not have been picky with friends. I had no room to be picky.
Oh boy.
So what did you know going into this? Like, what were you mentally prepared for?
It's funny because like I seen
it.
I really like the main thing that I knew is I really love like DC Comics, and the new Superman cartoon, My Adventures with Superman, it is almost explicitly like based on like art style and the way like the female gaze like of the male characters and like some of the female characters is very much inspired by Ouran High School Host Club. Like half of the episodes are references um to Ouran High School Host Club, My Adventure Superman. Like it's funny, there's this episode, the first one I recognize is like Kiss Kiss Fallen Portal, because like that's the name of the episode, and it's a reference to that where like I forget exactly. I haven't seen season 1 in a while, but yeah, so like that's kind of what I knew about it, and I know exactly 2 people in my real life that figured out that they were trans because of this show, but other than that, I knew nothing about it, and kind of wish I did, because multiple times throughout watching it, I kept having to like readjust my expectations because I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be this. Oh, wait, no, it's not." I thought it was gonna be kind of like a monster of the week, but like a date. Like every week, she was gonna go on like a different date. Winry was gonna go, and then like they were gonna teach Winry from Full Metal Alchemist how to be a boy, and then Winry would teach them how to be like her perspective, blah blah blah. And then like I realized really quick it wasn't that, and then yeah, it took me a second to like readjust exactly to what it was.
So as the white bearded male cis straight man, should I mansplain what the show is about?
Yeah, let's hear your mansplained explanation of Ouran High School Host Club. Please, my viewers will love that.
Yes, that's exactly what they were looking for. To put it very, very briefly, smart young lady breaks or is not very wealthy, goes to a very wealthy school on a full ride scholarship, breaks a vase worth more than 50 of her lives combined, and has to work it off by working at the host club. That's it.
Okay, wait, pause. You forgot smart autistic
That's
lady.
Fair. You're right.
Very non-binary coded.
Shit, you right.
Okay,
so sorry,
fun fact about autism is that it is I don't want to say symptom. It's common for people on the autism spectrum to have like I don't want to say gender fluidity, but to basically have a hard time compartmentalizing specific genders for themselves and for like people around them. And so it's like even more autistic coded, knowing that like she's like, it's just gender, who cares? Like it's all a construct. Like I don't care what clothes I wear, I don't care like if people think I'm a guy or a girl, it really doesn't matter. I don't care. That is like, sure, she could be gender fluid and not be autistic, but that is an autistic like tendency. It's normal for people on the spectrum.
A parallel or like a tangent.
Yeah. So
that would be the very quick synopsis.
Yeah. And for those that don't know what a host club is,
get out from underneath a rock and go look it up.
I still watched the entire show, and I was like, I don't exactly know. Like going back to like the whole, I thought it was gonna be like her going on a date every week. I'm still not exactly sure what the host club like does. Like if you put me in a host club right now and say do the host club thing, I would fumble around.
Like, you want to make your patrons spend as much money as they can on things that should not be expensive, but are.
It's a non-sexual escort situation.
Okay. Cool. I don't know if it was
like,
dub.
We're here to entertain. They're literally just there to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the whole bit.
That's about the vibe I got, but I just like, wait, what are they doing? I first thought it was a dub thing or a cultural thing, but that one was kind of like, oh, interesting, I guess. Because again, like half, like I counted, like half of them is like not doing host things. It's like doing beach episodes or like, which is great. I love it, but like, especially in the second half, they forget about the host part.
Yeah. There's so many like good lines in this that I feel like I reference regularly. And one, because my husband also watched this for the first time as I was doing my rewatch, and he now understands commoner coffee, and that is just so valuable to me.
So when I was thinking like, or when I said out loud like, oh, selling things that are expensive that should not be, the first thing that came to my mind was the commoner coffee. It's like, oh yeah, it's the commoner coffee. No, wait, I'm gonna try it.
They're like, no, don't do it.
I-
Go ahead.
I've worked I worked on a horse farm for like 8 years, and so like I've like mingled with like that level of rich, and it's so funny how much that's not an exaggeration. Like they like I there was some like I was a horse groom, and like the jockeys, he was a couple years older than me, literal millionaire, like $1 million allowance, a slight exaggeration, but like I took him to Marshalls, he's like, holy crap, place is amazing, you can just get everything you need in one place. He's like enamored by Marshalls.
Wait until you take him to Ross
Oh my gosh.
or TJ Maxx.
I didn't have TJ Maxx money back then. I barely have it now.
Don't we all? But
Okay.
yeah, no, so it's fascinating because I don't think I've actually watched this show subtitled before, so I really don't have an understanding for what those voice actors sound like. But um I think generally in record to this show, like I do fondly love this show in the best possible way. There are things that I know aren't great and I can look past them, but I think for me the I know Val, we kind of touched on this and we can go back to it. The twins like are probably my least favorite part of the show. I know Danny, for you it's probably Honey no Zuka.
From a narrative perspective, like I remember Honey's episodes.
Yeah,
I honestly could not tell you which of the twins went on a date with Haruhi.
I
Like
think it was Hikaru. I don't know, actually. Honestly, I
like
don't.
I think like at the very least, like Honey made me feel something, even if that something was hatred. I feel nothing towards the twins. You know, it's like
Yeah.
the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. Like I genuinely didn't care about the twins at
Really?
all.
Because I feel like I don't care about Tamaki.
Tamaki, I mean I get that.
Tamaki is very kind of just like he's baseline. I feel
See,
like he's just like he is the bar, and it's either like your favorite characters above that bar, or your favorite or least favorite characters below that bar. Like he
so
is the standard of just like, okay, this is what the show is about, and this is
mhm.
where like we're gonna set the baseline of not necessarily like annoyance, but like how these boys view the world. This is the baseline for them.
So it's funny you mentioned, because like one of the things when I was watching the show, it took me longer than I care to admit that like Haruhi, for me to realize that like Haruhi is not the main character. She is the vessel through which we experience the story. And in a lot of ways, Tamaki is the main character. And there were so many things. I think I even texted you here in my notes. Like the theme song is very much is like it looks like a like a shonen theme song, the way they like go around, like they even show the sky in the background, and I was like, why are they,
Mhm.
the sky's right there, why are they not attacking it? And I guess in that sense, kind of like again, like even being a casual anime fan, like comparing it to shonen, which is what I know best, it's Tamaki is kind of like that main character where like the main character is kind of boring, and then everyone else has favorite side characters. Like I don't know anyone who loves Naruto from Naruto, like uh as much as people like Neji or like Sasuke, like this other side characters, you know what I mean?
Naruto is actively my least favorite character in Naruto.
See, so it's especially, I don't know if it's a 2000s thing or something, but like yeah, like the main character is no one's favorite. Well, until we get the bit I was talking about.
Okay,
But
so
like, yeah, the
who were your favorite characters then?
probably Thor. Not Thor.
Thor?
Mori?
Yeah, Mori. Yes.
I
He's
brought
voiced by
I brought props.
he's yeah, Mori is voiced by Travis Willingham, who I know best as Thor from the animated Avengers Earth's Mightiest
Okay.
Heroes. Uh Kyoya probably. Yeah, Kyoya for sure. Voiced by J. Michael Tatum. It was so funny. I pulled up a picture of Tenya Ida from My Hero Academia.
Oh my
and
god!
And I showed him to my partner. And I was like, "These characters are voiced by the same guy." And she's like, "If it wasn't for the armor, I would believe you if you told me that these are the same exact character."
It was just the same character.
Yeah,
That's
J.
so
Michael Tatum
funny.
is just like typecast as like dudes with glasses.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
heartbroken. I found out he wasn't Oryu from Bleach. But
Okay, wait. So I note
That would've been
the
good.
props that I have here today.
Mhm.
These were this is an accidental purchase. I goofed in Japan and I panicked because there was an Ouran high school host club like cafe that I went to, and then there was like a random pop-up that was selling stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, they have these blind boxes, let me grab one. And like it was a small setup, so you just like went up to the front and you told them what you wanted. And I was like, oh, I just want one of these. And she's like, oh, you want one of these? And it was a box. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. And she was like, are you sure? Basically all very like gestury. And I was like, yeah. It was a box with one of each of these in it. And I bought, I don't know how much it cost. It was more than what I would have liked, but now I have one of all of them because there was a misunderstanding. But you know what? I'm not too mad about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Danny, I would agree with you. Mori was probably is my favorite character in this, just because I find his character the funniest.
Yes.
I like it, just pure comedic. Like I know he's the silent type, and like that's really, I feel like it can be very hit and miss in a
Mhm.
series, and I feel like his character really hits in this series. And then when he does talk, it's just like, oh, okay, he's just a normal dude.
Yeah, I really liked the episode when Roronoa Zoro came in and was just like like, hey, you're a big mean jerk, but you have friends. Can you teach me? And he was like visibly shocked. He's like, what?
Offended immediately.
Wait, let's continue the ranking. Okay.
And then Honey Senpai was like, is it true, boy? Are you using me? It was precious.
Yeah, okay. Mori.
Frank's co-host, aka my husband, Mori, was also his favorite character.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
But wait,
Mori,
okay.
Kyoya.
Yeah, Mori, Kyoya.
Honestly,
which version?
Just because of his role in the story, I have to say Tamaki.
Like gasp.
Tamaki, then Honey.
Okay.
Then wait, okay, there's Haruhi.
Yeah, Hikaru and Haruhi left.
Okay, then Haruhi. And then like if you want to put them off of the book, the twins. Like yeah, they're right there. Yeah. Those are
wait,
top
both
five.
twins,
So taboo.
Hold on. Both twins equally questionable. There is clearly a better twin.
I could not tell you the difference, so they're the same.
The one
is a human, and the other one is like a brat. Like
was it Hikaru that's the brat, and Karu was the one that's like got a half a mind to him?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The one,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine. The one that did not abandon her when it started to rain can stay on the book, and the other one can fall off the book.
Okay. Okay, wait. So I'm gonna get Frank. How would you adjust the ranking?
I actually really enjoy Haruhi, so I'd probably put Haruhi second after Mori.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd probably I would switch Kyoya and Tamaki, and then we're good.
Wow.
So I really wouldn't change it all too much.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna do mine. So I've got Mori, and then Honey, and then the bad twin is at the end next to Tamaki, and then Haruhi, and then like this. Totally different than you guys, I think.
Have you seen that meme of the hamster eating a banana? Is that why you like?
No, don't do that. No, it's not that. Okay, so normally, yes, the podcast is like that. This is not that kind of episode, but it does merit, and it brings me to my next question, which is, these are how we would rank our characters, like our favorite characters, whatever.
Okay.
I feel like my favorite characters line up with like my ships, I think. So I'm leading Danny into something, but I want to get your ships first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ship anyone with Haruhi?
If I had to, I would say Mori, because I think that one of the
We're
reasons
going for OG canon. I love it.
yeah, one of the reasons that like Haruhi was like so low for me is that she seemed very much like a reactive passive character for so long, and in the water park episode is like one of the few times that like I saw her actually take agent, like, oh, she like felt something, like like when Ace Porkaz the Ace like picked her up and she was like, "Ooh, I like this." And I'm like, "Oh shit, you have a personality. You have what's it called? Motivation." So yeah.
Frankfurt.
If I'm being completely honest,
Please.
the childhood friend who you don't have, I think that he is so like he is down to earth. She's down to earth. I don't think that any of these are like the greatest fit for her. So like I still thoroughly like that arc, that childhood friend arc where she has the job at like the summer house. I really thoroughly enjoy those episodes despite how freaking annoying I think it's Hikaru, who's the bad twin, is towards her. And I really, really, really like the introduction of a childhood friend, and that whole dynamic just throws a wrench
Frank
into
looks like he would ship a
everybody.
childhood friend.
I would, despite the fact that I am in love with the ships in Blue Box right now. So, but
So
anyways,
it's
Okay.
I'm looking at my notes app and I literally had like, oh, this summer vacation is cute. Next bullet point: childhood crush puke emoji. I hate childhood. I hate childhood friends to lovers so fucking much. It's so funny. And it's
gosh darn it, Danny.
Yes.
and the next bullet point
Always
is
the worst.
this.
They're always the worst pairing.
It's like the thing is that, like the thing I don't like about childhood friends to lovers, I can like them. They can be done well, but the thing is like typically it means that like neither one of you has grown. Typically it means that like both of you are like in the ones I've seen, which we've established, I have not encountered that much romance, or if I have, it's most majority of the romance I've encountered is in a context of a shonen story, which is like a male power fantasy. But it's like the thing of they haven't grown that much. It's like, oh, you were friends when you were 5, and yet here you are 17, 18, 19, and you're still acting more or less the same as you were when you were 5 or 6. But here I said, like, the next bullet point, wait, I just realized we're 16 episodes in and I don't really know anything about Haruhi and her desires. And then next they talk about like he's like, Kyoya's like, why do you look surprised? Well, I didn't know. when he's like, oh, you rejected me.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
So I'm gonna say I am also Team Mori, and I was Team Mori even before I found out that the mangaka's original plan was to make them canon, and then as they were writing it, like they were getting, like they were collecting, like they were releasing and writing, and so they ended up changing the main ship as a result. But Mori was the like original canon.
So okay, so there is like official quote unquote ending there.
Yeah,
in
the manga ended and they do have a ship, but
at that point it's not a ship, it's the real.
Well, yeah, the
it's canon.
Ship.
The ship sailed.
But yeah, I mean, other than like childhood friend, if I did have to pick somebody, it probably would be Mori, because I feel like the others are so.
Now he ships Mori.
Okay.
Just kidding.
No, it's fine. No, because again, I think that the fact that Haruhi is so down to earth, I feel like Mori is like very the same wavelength, and that anybody else is just so it just doesn't fit right.
So let me add to this, because I have gone to my cat is like, hello, pay attention to me, what are you doing? I've gone to a myriad convention. One convention that I went to, this is like peak for me, okay? It was like otaku court. And basically you would roll in and you would pitch who you thought was like the best ship for a character that they would like randomly whatever pick, or best ship from a show, and they had like a spin wheel. And then Ouran came up, and someone comes on and they're like, "Oh, I ship Tamaki with Haruhi," and everyone's like, "Yeah, whatever, whatever." And I'm sitting there and I'm like seething in my seat, and I'm like, okay, is my autism gonna win? Is my anxiety gonna win? Is my autism gonna win? Is my anxiety gonna win? What's gonna happen? And I'm like, I can't let this happen. I can't let Haruhi end up with Tamaki again. And so I stand up and I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys are wrong. Even the mangaka didn't want that for her. And as I'm saying this, someone cosplaying as Haruhi walks in the door, and I'm like, Haruhi, you got to defend yourself. Get up there. What are you doing? And everyone's like, yeah. The cosplayer gets up there and she's like, oh yeah, like I'm supposed to be with Mori. And I was like, yes, go off. So it was like this whole, yeah. So I team Mori, like deep core ship there. There's also there was also a whole argument during the panel where people were talking about how basically all of the other characters would more or less make Haruhi give up her dream in order to like be with them. Like Tamaki would likely just feel like he loves her, but he's self-absorbed, and the twins are also self-absorbed.
Honey's just too much of a child.
I mean, he's
not interested either. I feel like
he only cares about sweets, and I'm sure at some point, like he would grow out of only being obsessed with sweets. And then nerd guy, he is like a businessman, and that's like his main thing. Like it's clear he does like Haruhi, whatever. But at the end of the day, Mori we know about Mori that when he cares about someone, he wants them. He prioritizes making sure that they do what they want over him doing what he wants. And so at the end of the day, we know that Mori would support her and whatever she wants to do, whether she wanted to be a lawyer, whether she wanted to be a mom, if she wanted to not be a lawyer anymore and give up and do whatever, like he would support that. He would support anything that she would want to do. And at its core, like that is a real partner. And so like all of the other ones seem more like children when it comes to like a ship for, I mean, I know they're all children, but he seems more like a full-fledged like romantic partner versus the other ones just like are infatuated with her.
But the commoner coffee, he tried the commoner coffee for her.
Let's I was like scrolling around for like trying to like get like, okay, I watch a show now, like what is like the fandom think, what is like what's this, what's that, like why do y'all hate this? But one of the things I saw that was actually very interesting is that like especially in the episode where they introduce Haruhi's dad, somebody like pointed out that like, oh, like Tamaki and her dad are like almost very identical, almost exactly like, so him ending up with her would just be the same for her. Like her life wouldn't change. She wouldn't grow up from like, and this is again one of those things I hate about like childhood friends to lovers is just like you don't grow up. So like like it's kind of taking care of her dad. She's like dealing with like his antics, and then they go like, even if you, I don't know how Japan works, if it's normal to you to leave to go to college, and assuming they live together or that kind of thing, it'd be the same thing. She would be leaving like her dad to take care of Tamaki's antics. Even though I will say, like, I do like Tamaki's kind of like growth and maturity of like owning up to responsibility, like owning up to think, like it's subtle, but like by the last episode, I was like, oh, I guess he has kind of changed a little bit, especially considering the fact that he's supposed to be 16. So like I'm like, okay, like that was the other thing, is just like having to like earlier when I said like, oh, I had no room to be picky. It's just like having like, okay, he's 16. I was insufferable at 16. So like a little bit there, but given what we know of just like this, it's just like, sure, okay, I accept that he's 16 based on the information the show gives me. I don't think that he would be a good fit for her.
Yeah, I mean, like he's selfish in a way, but he's also thoughtful, and I think it's like his thoughtfulness and caring that carry him. But at the end of the day, he's still like selfish and immature.
Same for her dad, like, and that's what I mean.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I love her dad. Her dad is great. My God. Like as a parent, I feel like that
Danny did text
dynamic.
me as soon as the dad came on. Hold on, let me look up what he said. Keep going.
I was gonna say, as a dynamic, I feel like the dad and her work a lot better than like that type of personality works good for a parent, but not as a partner. So that's why, like when you were like Tamaki and the dad are very similar. It's like they are very, very similar. But I feel like as a parent, a literal parent, that works. That's fine to be a doting parent on your child, but like as a partner, lover, no. It's not. It's very not necessarily one-sided, but it's very toxic.
I do like the Tabaki basically went the whole series without realizing he liked Haruhi. Like the whole thing was like, wait, do I have a crush on her? That was very funny. But okay, did you find it? What I said to you?
No, sorry, I'm going through your bunch of realizations of the voice actors. Several, I want to punch Honey Senpai in the faces. I'm getting there. Hold on.
Oh, right. The words that they used for Haruhi's dad. I'm like, oh, right.
This was made back in the early 2000s.
This is the one where I was like, I went to the sub. I'm like, oh no, that's what they said that with their chest. They said it's stronger in Japanese. They used a hard T and a hard R.
No.
You had said I lied. I like the mean girl with the main character.
Oh yeah, Himiku Tor.
Is it the girl that comes out of nowhere that just has the evil like villainess laugh?
That was so. We were talking about it was made in 2000s. The repeated bit of the power generator to signify that she was coming is
so
just like
funny.
It's like a great way to like reuse assets, especially back then. Everything was like 2D animated. They had to hand draw it, so like, all right, we're gonna reuse it. I love it. That was one of my favorite bits of the whole show.
It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't recognize. I was like, oh wait, like that's not. I didn't recognize her as Bulma from Dragon Ball Z. But oh yeah, the mean girl from like the very first episode.
Why do I not remember the mean girl?
Because it's the very first episode. Like I like I learned very quickly.
Like
she does not appear.
When Haruhi walks in and
yes. Okay, no, I do know now. Yes, for some reason before you said first episode, I was thinking the girls from Lobelia. But then, Lobelia. Yeah.
We won't talk about Lobelia and that one cutscene. We won't talk about that on this podcast.
Okay. What do you mean? It's a bird.
Yeah, no. Now that when you say first episode,
it's giving
I remember
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh yeah. Okay. There. All of us are in our 30s, and Haruhi's dad is 35.
Okay, so that was what I was getting at, is that when you met Haruhi's dad, your first reaction was 35. Then your second reaction was, I never would have guessed them saying transvestite.
Yeah, I bet like let's go. I think I had texted you where like if I had watched the show like when it came out, I would have been like a nicer, more accepting person at a much younger age, because like I think it was like an 11th or 12th grade before I like learned that gay people were real, and it wouldn't be until I was in college that I met the first trans person I know. And one of whom would tell me that like this show is the one that trans their gender and like help them realize that like, oh, the default factory settings are not working.
What's so wild to me is that like if this show didn't exist and we're like just now previewing in this day and age, it would just, I feel like it would get, I mean, obviously like things would have to change about it like slightly. Not the twins though. But I think
the beach episode.
I think people would call it woke, and I think that it would just be like kind of, it would get brushed off for being woke, and that would be it. But the fact that when this came out and like everything that's woke, air quotes, about it is so chill, it's like, I think everything that people get annoyed about wokeness for, this just, it's so chill about it. It just is what it is. She's just like, yeah, like at no point in the episode does someone be like, oh my God, Haruhi, your dad wears ladies' clothes. Like that doesn't even happen. Like
Mhm.
everyone's just kind of like, oh, he wears women's clothes. Oh, it just is what it is. It's no one's like obsessively bringing attention to it. Everything, like the fact that she's like, who cares what clothes I wear? Who cares if someone thinks I'm a guy? And that's just the end of it. And I think that, to your point, Danny, like if you'd have watched this back then, or I mean, I'm sure it changed a lot of people's lives, just the fact that it existed when it did.
Mm-hmm. I think my sister told me that she watched this entire thing like on YouTube in 3 parts. And it was like the first anime she watched, knowing it was an anime, not like Frank on like your pod. We had talked about like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon being like animes that like
You don't
you don't
realize
know.
they are, but
Yeah,
they
you just think
are.
they're cartoons because they're on Cartoon Network. So you think, oh, they're cartoons.
Yeah.
But also she said that like I watched I watched this on Ouran High School Host Club on YouTube at the friend's recommendation, and then I watched a whole bunch of other things. I recommended her Code Geass, and then she watched it and she stopped talking to me.
Maybe because the main character's sister's in a freaking wheelchair.
Oh, okay. Val, do you want to play the game? Or
okay, wait, before we get into that, I wanted to add, so like I haven't made it that far in the manga beyond what exists in the anime. The only thing that I know is different that I've personally read is the innkeeper.
Oh.
They have a daughter in the manga. And in the manga, that girl is like trying to push Haruhi out of being with like the guys, and she like is like, oh, Haruhi, you should hook me up with Tamaki and let me go on a date with him. And like it's a whole thing, but that's like it's like a whole like several chapters in the manga that's like a divergence from like the anime itself, which I can see why they didn't include it. It was completely unnecessary to the whole story. But she's a gauru, so she's like big thick makeup and blah blah blah. So and she also, part of the plot with that one is that like she like hates her dad, and but her dad is still like low-key taking care of her. She like moves in with Haruhi, but then like the dad's like sending her like, he's like, hey, like I know my daughter's living with you, here's her favorite recipe, cook it for her please. And like it's very sweet.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I really need to suck it up and just buy this box set one day.
that's what I was searching.
That day is not today, but I do need to do it one day.
I was searching for
can I have the
and,
notepad set that comes with it? I already used all of my notepad.
Hey, it's on sale on Crunchyroll right now. We were talking about that before. $50 off.
$50
So it's
off.
what, like 115 now?
136.
Oh, on my screen. Oh, it's 129 for me because I've got the
Mega,
the ultimate tier fan, whatever thing.
The Omega
so
verse
it's 130.
Omega First Country, yeah. You get nodded.
Am I cringe for paying for Crunchyroll? Is that what this is?
No, just because you guys said Mega, and I was like, oh, it's the Omegaverse Crunchyroll account.
Yeah, you get nodded.
Oh no, I get it now.
Deals.
It clicked. I get it now.
Okay.
No, for how much? Yeah,
I know you're new to this podcast, Frank, but
I'm not new to these topics. It clicked.
Ooh, we're having Frank on for an Omegaverse episode. Okay.
I have not watched any of them, any of that. So I could not participate at all at this point in time.
I wanted to do an episode with Frank and Danny. You're welcome to. It's live reactions to like me reading you Omegaverse.
I was gonna say that that Raylo Omegaverse book, I think it's literally just called Bride or something like Pet, or it's just something
Titan's Bride?
No, I think it's literally just called Allie Hazelwood. That's the author's name.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna be honest.
She's like,
I'm lost.
Publishes like she's like famous because she took her Raylo fan fiction, like Kylo Ren and Rey from Star Wars, and she like took the serial numbers off and like posted it and traditionally published it, and then she did one where it's like straight up Omegaverse, but with Kylo Ren and Rey
I mean, to be
Skywalker.
fair, Kylo Ren is the best Disney princess, so.
Yep. There was actually something I wanted to say, but I forgot. So,
what was this game you were implying at, Danny?
The last episode was the fanfic episode. We're moving on to.
I've actually surprisingly not read a single thing of fanfic for anything in my entire life, which is honestly shocking.
Story.
But anyways,
go ahead.
What is this game?
Oh, so Danny has prepared his own mini segment within my segment. So within my Straight Guy Reacts to Anime segment, Danny's prepared his own segment for this segment. Go on.
I'm so frightened right now. Like I'm not mentally prepared for this. For the viewers, I know Danny very well. Danny and I are good friends. This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well.
No.
He
did run it by me first. He didn't like. So this is all by the books.
This is not as bad as a hamster eating the banana or the hard T, hard R.
It's not this episode.
Or me clicking into our Discord chat between the two of us and seeing the freaking image of the paperclip getting violated. But that's neither here nor there.
That's a different fan fiction. Today, we're going to be talking about the Ouran High School Host Club on Archive of Our Own, AO3. And I'm going to ask you guys to guess the top, how many is this, 10?
No, you sent me the list, though.
Yeah. Did you look at it?
Yeah. You think I was going to ignore it? You're like...
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in crisis.
You were, yeah.
Okay. Frank, you guess the placement.
Yeah, let's make Frank do it.
Val, you guess the numbers. Because I know you don't remember the numbers.
Oh, I mean...
Okay, so...
Roughly.
In number 1 spot, Frank, guess the most popular ship, according to Fix, on Archive of Our Own, of Ouran High School Host Club.
Wait, just to clarify, the numbers that you found, are they the number of, like... fan fiction stories related to those characters?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the most popular fan fiction that people are writing? What is the most popular pairings?
Yes.
Frank, you better not be Googling this.
No, I'm not. I'm literally just bringing up a character list so I know like names.
Okay,
like,
and I'll
7,
demonstrate with. I'm glad that I have props for this too. So
point on the acrylic. Which one?
Tell me when to stop.
Show me on the acrylic which ship hurt you.
So number 1, I mean, from what we've talked about, probably Mori.
Okay.
So you think Mori and who? Because this is not. This is all free for all ship. Okay. This is the pile of people that you get. Yes.
Again,
Frank.
Straight brain. This is girls gays and animes. Yes.
Well,
I gotta think outside the box. Boy, oh boy.